What's going on, guys? I'm going to show you today one tool that I live and die by on OddsJam. It's not as popular as the positive EV page, which is the one I'm on right now, but it's just as valuable and you can make just as much money. I probably find about 50% of my bets on there every single day. So I'll start by just kind of showing off the EV page. Pretty much the percentage right here is your expected value percentage, your profit margin. So when you're making a bet, let's just say you're going to take Derek White under 3.5 assists. You would expect if you put $100 on this, your profit margin, we'll just round up to $5, would be $5, which meant that if you place that same type of bet over and over and over again, you would average out to about $5 of profit if you were to place $100 on it. Same goes with this bet, same goes with this bet, just about everything here. The thing is, for a bet to be on the positive EV page, it needs to have two requirements. It needs to have a two-way market, which means it has to have like an over and an under, and it has to have enough data points. So just enough books offering odds on that line to justify it being positive EV. Well, there's one tab, there's one part of this page or this website where you don't need those requirements, and that is the low hold page. The whole idea of the low hold page and the reason it was created was to help people with those rollover bonuses. Like a lot of the offshore books will have, a $1,000 deposit match, but you have to play through that 5 times, 10 times. And so pretty much you'll find a lot of bets where it's pretty much just the same number, but inverted. So, plus 100, minus 100, or here is both plus 100, but here minus 120, plus 120. So if you put $120 on this one and $100 on this one, you would lose nothing and you would gain nothing, but it would help you with those rollover bonuses. However, what I've noticed also is it's a great way to find bets that might not have enough data points to fit the positive EV requirement, but it'll still show up here. So I was scrolling this a little bit earlier and I came across this one bet. And the reason I like this so much is take a look at this. This just moved even more in our direction. Utah Valley versus New Mexico over 77 first half is a phenomenal bet, but it's not going to show up on the EV page because there's only 2 data points. The one we'd be taking and Pinnacle, known as the sharpest book in the world, especially when it comes to when it comes to main market lines like spreads, money lines, and over-unders. So you're looking at this and you think, okay, well, why would I take it on here if I only have 1 data point? Well, the reason is because if you expand this page, you'll see the reason why it's not showing up is because every other sports book is already higher than that. Betfred minus 110, WinBet minus 110, DraftKings minus 115, BetOnline minus 105. They don't have alternate markets on this. So there's no data point, there's no odds that they can give us for 77. Okay. I mean, you could see FanDuel's already up, this is obviously plus money, but it's plus 144, 81.5. They don't give you any lines for 77. That's why it's not showing up on the EV page, but it will show up on the low hold page. It's kind of like a little hidden gem that people don't really realize because they're obviously the EV page is phenomenal. I find a ton of my bets there, but the low hold page is also an excellent place to find good bets, especially if you're looking at night, let's say for the games for the next day on like NBA main market. And, books haven't come out with alt lines yet. So they have their normal minus 110 line. And if you can find a book that has it for like 1.5 or 2 points cheaper, let's say you want to take the over and you can get it for 2 points less on one book, it's not going to show up on the EV page because the other books haven't released alternate lines yet. So there aren't enough data points for it to be on the EV page. Now, I don't have an example right now for that because right now it's 2:13 my time. And, there's nothing for tomorrow's games yet. But, this is a really good example of something similar where there's no alt lines. So for face value, there's only 2 markets that are offering it or 2 books that are offering it at this line. But once you expand it, you can kind of see where all the other ones are. We're getting an extra point of value, which is just nuts, especially on a first half. I've won and lost too many first half bets by a half a point to know how important having this number is versus this number. It kind of gives you essentially 2 more outs. Now you push, or it's almost 3. Now you push on 77, you don't lose on 77, and you win on 78 instead of pushing on 78. That's a tremendous amount of value just by 1 point. And it's, you could think like, oh, well, it might soar over by 20 points and it might soar under by 20 points, but it doesn't matter because the lines are set there for a reason. They expect the score to probably end up at 78 total first half, and we're getting it for 77, and that's a profitable bet right there. Okay, so we can continue to go. The beauty of this also is you can search by the book. So if we wanted to look up just FanDuel alone, now mind you, not every bet here is going to be a positive EV bet, but you can look and you can kind of see, okay, look at this. Austin Reeves under 3.5 assists. We're getting minus 135 on MGM. We're getting minus 121 on Caesars. We're getting minus 120 on DraftKings. We're getting plus 100 on FanDuel. That's pretty solid. Pinnacle is clearly favoring the under. And just about every book except Bovada is favoring the under, but not nearly, favoring the over, but not nearly as much as FanDuel. So we're getting that at plus 100. It's a very, very, it's a good bet that, it's just kind of like a hidden gem on the low hold page. What I like to do though is I primarily use this for price picks and also just like main market lines. So if you were to look up price picks, you could see a lot of bets that might not necessarily fit the criteria of like a positive EV bet, because when it comes to price picks, you have to beat a no vig odds of minus 119 in order for it to be up there. That means the average odds are probably going to be closer to like, minus 135, minus 137, something in that range. But if you can find a bet like minus 135 across the board, like we can look at this bet right here. Bam Adebayo over 8.5 rebounds. Okay. Yes, one book, Barstool, is not as fond of the over as a lot of the others, but look at some of these other like lines. DraftKings, a very sharp US book, especially for player props. They're really liking the over. WinBet favoring the over. Every single book here is favoring the over. This is a great play for price picks, even though it might not be positive EV. I've been able to find like a lot of my plays just by using this page, by filtering it to show me only price picks. And you can see that the reason it's on here is because, like I said, for the rollover bonuses, you want to try to find, it's going to show you plays where the minus 119 is as close to plus 119 as possible. And as you can see, plus 118 here, plus 120 here. We can expand on this and see another phenomenal play, minus 130, minus 130, minus 158, and minus 137. And if you want to straight bet this, you could also take the under at plus 118, which also has a tremendous amount of value. That's the thing with EV betting. We're not betting on the game. We're not betting on the team. We're not saying James Harden should go over. No, we're saying we're getting very good value at this certain line. And that's why I'm taking it, because if I keep on repeating that same bet over and over and over again, it's going to work out in my favor. So if we wanted to just take the no vig odds and find exactly what the EV percentage is because because this percentage right here isn't the EV percentage, it's the low hold percentage. But if we went here and we opened up the no vig fair odds calculator and the Kelly calculator, you could find, let's see, we'll put minus 130 and plus 100. Plus 100. So our side of hitting is 46.94. We're getting that for plus 118. So you plug that in. We're left with a 2.33% edge. That's a very playable play on a play on something like that. You're getting 18 cents of value just across the board. Aside for the DFS platforms where the lines are fixed or the odds are fixed, we're looking at plus 100 across the board. We're getting plus 118 on FanDuel. Clear discrepancy. So you can either take the over on one of the DFS platforms or the under on FanDuel, both being profitable plays. But what I also like to do on the low hold page is find a lot of main market plays that are direct low holds or potential ARBs to Pinnacle. So if we want to just look up Pinnacle here, and let's filter it so we don't see props, because Pinnacle isn't as sharp on props, and we're trying to really just look for main market. Something like this, right? Phenomenal play. If I look on the EV page, I'm actually not sure if it's going to be here or not. It's not here, but it's on the low hold page because there's not enough books offering this line, because I don't think my bookie is a very credible book, and neither Bovada is fine, but it's nothing special. But if we wanted to go directly off of Pinnacle, which is what I do for every main market line, See, the thing with betting, like making EV bets on main market, is that you're finding profitable plays, but you're also finding plays that you expect to continue to move in your direction using the mathematical data. Like this, right? Minus 110 on Caesars, minus 125, minus 130, minus 125, minus 131. Pinnacle's got it at minus 125. The only difference is that they're taking a lot less VIG than a book like DraftKings. DraftKings is taking 30 cents a VIG. Pinnacle's taking 15 cents. That's why I like to go directly off of them, just to get a better idea of what the true odds are, on top of just going based off a very sharp sports book. As you can see, because all of these lines are, or all these books are favoring Northwestern -1 so much, I can guarantee you that Caesars is going to start to move in Northwestern's direction. It'll probably close maybe at 2, maybe at 2.5, something like that. You never know when all the money starts to pour in, where this line is going to move, but you can make a good, for face value, it's a very strong bet, and I guarantee you the line on this will move in your direction as it gets closer to game time. So if we want to go and just determine the EV percentage face value directly off of Pinnacle, we would go minus 125 plus 110 gives us a 53.85% win rate. Plug it in here where the odds we can get it at, and you just found a 2.8% EV play on main market. That's a really strong play that a lot of people wouldn't have taken. This is a play that I live on. This is why I've had so much success betting main market, is because I'm exploring all these tools. On the low hold page, they're not weighting the books the same way. They're not weighting my bookie, because look at my bookie. They're taking 36 cents of VIG. It's just absolutely absurd. Like, if we wanted to expand on this, I can show you how much VIG they're taking. And on -2, my bookie's taking 7.9% compared to Pinnacle at 3.2. Like, if you were to base your odds directly off of that, it wouldn't show up anything, because you're already paying so much VIG that it just completely skews the overall average odds. So I always spend a lot of my time, especially at night, while not all the books have their lines out yet. I spend a lot of my time looking on the low hold page, finding gems like this, and look at that. Now it's gone. Okay, they just pulled it off the market because it was such a good play. It's all about speed, and it's all about finding plays like that. You could look at a play like this: Kent State versus Indiana over 139.5. Okay, I know WinBet was at 141 earlier. I'm not sure what they're at right now, but you could kind of see 139.5 is simply too low. Okay, I don't know where this line is going to close, but all I know is getting it at -110 has tremendous value because it's simply too low. Okay, and for every time you think about how you got screwed by that half point, by that hook, like, all you have to know is you are getting the best line possible, and there's a good chance that you could win while someone else that took the over on another book is going to lose. So that's kind of it. I definitely suggest that you guys go and kind of explore it yourself, toy around with it. You can make sure to, if you want to look at specific books, if you want to look at FanDuel, you can type in FanDuel, check out what they have. You can do it with Pinnacle. You can do it with all the other books, but I definitely suggest you guys checking that out, because it's been like an absolute game changer for me. And while the EV page is phenomenal, the low hold page is also a bit of a hidden gem. So everyone, go take a look at that. That's all for me. Obviously, comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you later.